Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. You have been lied to. Most marketing plans are completely useless within 90 days. Yet companies keep spending weeks creating 30-page documents that never gets executed. And here's the truth, right? Tech and SaaS companies move way too fast. A 12-month plan is outdated by month 3. Marketing is not about campaigns anymore. It's about execution and continuous execution throughout the period, right? And what worked in 2019, dead. AI, intent data, and buying behaviors have changed everything. And yet most marketing team are stuck in the old fashioned or old school planning models that kind of kill growth. And here is the good news. By the end of this video, you will learn the 5 powerful hacks to build a high impact revenue driven marketing plan that actually works in 2025. And hack 5 is a game changer. So stay with me till the end and let's get into it. Now let's talk about why old marketing plans are useless. Let's start with some hard facts. According to Gartner, 65% of the marketing leaders say that their strategy is outdated within 6 months. McKinsey found that companies relying on static marketing plans see 40% lower ROI, 40% lower ROI than those using agile or dynamic frameworks. And here is why. Most marketing plans are just a long list of ideas. They don't have a clear revenue goals. They don't have an execution framework, and there is no adaptability to changing needs. They look something like a 20 slider PowerPoint presentation with growth projections, a vague list of campaign ideas, and maybe some MQL targets that no one actually believes in. And what happens, right? 6 months later, half the plan is irrelevant, right? The team is still running some random experiments with no clarity on what's working and what's not working. And sales and marketing are completely misaligned. It's kind of insane that tech marketers still plan it this way. The game has changed and we kind of need a new approach. Instead of creating a long-term roadmap, you need a real-time execution framework. Your marketing plan should be adaptable and you can adjust it every 90 days, and it's revenue focused. Every action ties to pipeline and growth. It has to be cross-functional. Marketing, sales, and whether it's delivery or operations team or products team, they have to work together, right? And it has to be focused on customer-centric, based on real ICP data and not assumptions. Now, how do you do this, right? Let's talk about a 5 marketing plan hacks that will change the way you work forever. And let's start with the hack 1, right? The 90-day execution plan. And forget about the 12-month plan. Winning teams don't use 12-month plan. They use the 90-day execution cycle. And here is how you actually accomplish. You set one core revenue goal per quarter. And that can be something like increase pipeline by 20%. And then you align marketing, sales, and product or operations together. And you use weekly check-ins to adjust. It's not about creating a PPT and then forgetting it, right? Don't set and forget. And I want to tell you here that, there are various reports that suggest that, companies that update its marketing strategy every 90 days, they have seen a faster pipeline growth compared to somebody who's got a 12-month marketing plan, right? So ask yourself, if you could only focus on one metric for the next 60 days or 90 days, what would that be? And here is the hack 2. Use the POST framework, post what we call within my network, right? Most marketing plans are bloated with activities. They just don't move the needle, right? You use a very simple system instead. Now, I want to start with the POST framework, which is P stands for positioning. Define exactly what problem you solve. Do you help companies move from one platform to another platform within an accelerated time to market, right? Or do you help companies manage their product roadmap better, right? Or do you help in managing projects 20% cheaper than any other software available, whatever that is, right? And then the next on the POST framework is O. O stands for objective. What's that KPI, which is not a vanity metric, which is really something that you can tie it back to pipeline and growth. The third is strategy. S stands for strategy. Focus on high impact channels. Right? Now, I'm not saying that you should not experiment. In fact, I would say that in the later video, how you should set aside a certain bandwidth to test on certain experiments, right? So focus on high impact channels. T stands for tactics. Plan for the next 4 weeks, not 12 months. And you would see that if you write your next 90-day strategy using POST right now, it would have a significant impact the way you operate. Let's also talk about the hack 3. The hack 3 is 70-20-10 budgeting rule, which is what I was talking earlier, how you should create a certain portion of your budget to experiment, whether it's ABM or whether it's AI-driven personalization or whether it's some podcast or whether it's some community building or whatever that is, right? And then 70% is dedicated to what is already working. That could be your SEOs, that could be your inside sales team, that could be your website, that could be your email marketing, whatever that is, right? And then you allocate 10% of your budget in your, let's say, high risk moonshoots, right? Which kind of focus on viral campaigns or influencers or something like that, right? And companies that use these kind of framework, they will see better efficiency in the coming days, right? So make sure that you're focused on 70-20-10. 70 what's working, 20 is experiment, 10 is high risk moonshots, right? Now let's talk a little bit about the hack 4. Hack 4 is kind of flipping it on its head, right? You reverse engineer from revenue. Most marketing plan starts with tactics. That's backward. Instead start with revenue goals. What's the revenue goal for the quarter, and then work backwards. If your goal is a $2 million pipeline, break it down to number of SQLs, number of meetings, number of content, number of ad spend, or whatever that is, right? So figure out what is your pipeline and then work backwards to figure out the number of meetings or demos or second level calls or proposals or ad spend or content assets or events or something like that, right? And 80% of SaaS CMOs, they regret focusing on activities over revenue. So make sure that you map your marketing plan backward from revenue today. And here is what the hack number 5, one metric that matters, right? The OMTM, right? And most marketers track too many KPIs, right? Define one metric that drives real growth for you, right? Whether it's pipeline velocity or sales cycle length or pipeline, ignore everything else, right? Just focus on what matters the most to you. Now there are various reports online which talks about how Dropbox just focused on activating users, and that helped them increase their retention and grow, right? Similarly, what is that OMTM for you? One metric that matters, right? And if you could measure only one thing next quarter, what would it be? So here is the quick recap, right? Focus on the 90-day execution plan, gone are the 12-month static marketing plans. Focus on the post framework, problems that you solve, objectives, and then track that one metric that matters to you, and then strategy, right? So it's POST: positioning, objective, strategy, and tactics, right? And then we spoke about the 70-20 budgeting, reverse engineer from revenue, and one metric that matters. And I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you, and bye-bye.